Good afternoon. I am, and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I am canning the whey that I made from the cottage cheese earlier today. I've already got my jars in an oven at 220 because we're pressure canning today. When you pressure can, it's different than water bath. And the reason I set the jars in an oven at 220 is that's boiling point. And because the pressure, I'm heating the water up, is going to be at boiling. So that way there'll be no extreme in the temperature to cause the glass to break. Let me close my cabinet, I'll be right back. I have my whey in here. I'm using quart jars. And right now, I've got everything going, getting it ready so I can can. So I'm going to go ahead and use Vaseline and grease this so it won't stick like glue, though sometimes it does, and I have to get a screwdriver to get it undone. I'm going to go ahead and grease this and get this done. And then I'll get this stuff out for canning. I have everything ready, but I don't have the equipment that I need yet. They say to use oil. I use the oil, and if I don't get this on exactly straight, it's the seepage just keeps on going. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to use Vaseline and put out the money for it. Okay, we got this going. Get the rest of my equipment out and I'll be back. Okay, I got the other stuff out now. Your pressure canner comes with 2 trays. Mine, I have an all American. This one has 2 trays in it, so I could double stack pint jars, not quarts. So you have to have a tray on the bottom, be it water bath or pressure can, because if you have those jars directly on the bottom of your pot, the jars are going to crack. You have to have something between it. Now when you buy a water bath canner, or if you buy a pressure canner, they come with these things. They should always come with these things. So that's a trick you have to remember. You don't want your jars to crack. Now if you don't have them, they state, well, I guess if you put enough jars in it, it'll work. You can put a towel at the bottom, but you must have something between those jars and the bottom of that pot, inside that pot, because it will crack. So now I have to wait for this to boil. It needs to get hot, and then we'll be canning. Okay, the whey is boiling. So I'll get my jars out. I am using a measuring cup. Maybe I needed 4 jars, but I'm filling them up to here. whey that I have left, I'm just going to put in the refrigerator because I can use it to cook with. There's not enough for a quart jar, and I just don't want to do a small one. You know, when my grandmother used to can, she had those jars that had like a metal rim, and it was hooked, and the lid was hooked up to it, and it had a metal rim, and it was actually hooked together, and you had to latch it. When my mother canned, she used the jars we use today, but what she did was she had to melt wax. So after she did everything, she had to melt wax to cover it and seal it. It's like double sealing, triple sealing. The only thing I said to myself, I will never can if I have to use wax. And that was my philosophy in life. Be careful you don't want to have this too wet, because you'll get the taste of vinegar and stuff, so you might as well learn to do it. I should add a little more. I think I'm going to. You can see I don't have that much left. I just want to add a little more into it. I'm going careful I don't have to worry about wiping the rims again. I'm not kidding, it's really hot. Let me get this over here. Pour the leftover vinegar into the pot. You can keep your jars clean. It won't become clouded. An arrow here and in the indentation here, you have to match those up. I never get this thing straight on. The Vaseline is a better sealer. At least I find it is. these knobs, you have to go opposite ends. They say to level it, but anyway, I never get it level. And then you go opposite ends and tighten it up. You don't have to go start raving mad tightening it up, because that pressure is going to lock it in as well. It's going to get really tight. Right now we have to wait for this to come to a boil and this thing starts venting, and then I'll be back. If you're going to pour hot stuff into a jar, make sure you have a metal spoon, fork, knife, something metal in it. It'll keep your glass from breaking, because it will absorb the heat until the jar gets hot. See, that's not much. Okay, let me turn the light on for you. I've had a steady stream for 10 minutes. I put my weight on it. For the area I live is 10 pounds per square inch. You have to check your own to see if it's 10 or 15 or 5, whatever. But do check in your area to make sure you have the right pounds per square inch, so when you seal your food up for the winter, everything will stay sealed. Another thing, whey is like canning milk, light cream, heavy cream. What you have to do is you bring it up to your weight of pounds per square inch. Mine's 10. As soon as it hits 10 pounds per square inch, I am going to turn this off and wait until the gauge goes down to 0. Then I will take the weight off and vent it, and then I'll get the jars out, but not before. When it hits 10 pounds, there's no cooking time. You just bring it up to 10 and then turn it off and let the pot cool down to 0 per pounds per square inch, and then you vent it. And when that vent's done, take the lid off. Be careful, because it's a lot of heat. You can get 3rd-degree burns from it. And take your jars out, and remember to put them on a towel or something, but don't put them on the counter, because the counter's cool and those jars are very hot. And I'll be back when it's done. It just reached 10 pounds and I just turned it off. Now I have to wait till it goes down to 0. There you go. It's dropped down to 0, so I'm going to pull this off. And let that vent. Once that's done venting, I'm going to open it. Okay. Time to unscrew these things and get in here. I'll be every time. I never get it off. The video's on, and it works. I can't believe it. You don't know how many times I've had to struggle with a screwdriver to get that lid off. Maybe it's because you're watching and the pot says I'm going to be good today. Whey. Now tomorrow morning, that one's still boiling. Tomorrow morning I will check to see if they seal, and if they're sealed I will take the rim off and I will wash them with soap and water to make sure there's no food on them, and I'll mark them and date them and put them away. Take care. Oh, this is really wet. Take care and have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.